The United States is now two different countries because of this Supreme Court ruling. That is not me being hyperbolic.
That man is 100% correct. Allow me to explain it to you in crayon eating terms, because I fear some of you still aren't understanding and talking enough about how what happened this week puts us up not only perfectly for another civil war situation, but also authoritarian regime. Oh, and not to mention the other ruling that's going under the rug here that reminds me word for word of what happened in Germany. So before we dive in, as always, make sure you like, repost to get the word out here, and follow along for more updates. Many concerning rulings came in this week, but two of which go hand in hand. The first of which is the judicial branch essentially yielding its power to the executive branch, that would be Donnie, willingly, thus consolidating power into the executive branch, getting us one step closer to authoritarian regime. And the second of which was them defending the fact that Donnie actually can just deport people to random countries that they're not even from, and he chooses specifically, and that does come into play here. But it starts with the first ruling, in which it was around Donnie trying to strip people of their birthright citizenship. But the larger ruling really says that the judicial branch, or federal judges, don't have the power to issue nationwide injunctions, stopping and checking the executive branch anymore. That's the larger message here. The judicial branch decided to vote upon weakening themselves and consolidate power into the executive branch, which already feels unconstitutional because what the heck happened to checks and balances here? But if you look at the judicial branch itself, it is very right-leaning, and many of them are extremely unqualified and simply appointed by Donnie himself to do his bidding. So it's no shock that they are destroying democracy for him. And the actual ruling itself says that it moves this to the lower court systems, or the states, to decide, which is what brings us up to them setting us up for what looks like a civil war. Because do we remember the last time individual states had the ability to tell people about their freedoms or citizenship? You nailed it. Even though it's written in the literal Constitution that if you're born here in the U.S., you are a United States citizen, this is now up for argument. This means that there's the potential for one state to decide you're actually a U.S. citizen, but another state to decide you're not a U.S. citizen. Meaning, hypothetically, someone could live their entire lives in California as a U.S. citizen, but then have a layover in Kansas or something and suddenly get deported, leading into this other ruling that we mentioned earlier, right? To a random country that they're not even from, especially since they were born here in the U.S. too, so that adds a whole nother level of what the heck. So the man in the original video is correct. We are no longer the United States. We very quickly could become divided here. But as far as the second ruling, let's never forget that the main camp wasn't in Germany. They sent the people to a different country of their choosing.